Luke, good morning, and well done, and congratulations as well. So, what is the secret?
The secret to, I don't know if there is any real secret. I think a lot of hard work, a lot of effort, attention to detail, and I think just trying to be original, you know, trying to just create something that's fresh and original. And, you know, my whole thing is combining flavors, and so my strife in life is to try and create new flavor combinations and just create something different, you know.
So hence the test kitchen, because I suppose is every dish a test and an experiment, I suppose.
Yeah, well, when we first opened the test kitchen, the idea was to take food and flavor as far as I could, and I mean, 8-9 years on, it's the same philosophy that we share, and yeah, every dish is an experimentation, but we don't experiment on the guests. We experiment on each other before we experiment on the guests.
Okay, well, I'm very glad to know that. You know, look, the thing is, I don't know how many people actually have that wonderful experience. We have high expectations when we head out to a restaurant, especially high-priced ones. We have high expectations that we're going to have this fabulous meal that we're not going to forget in weeks. But I find that becoming a very rare thing, that I actually go out and actually enjoy something, and I want to send somebody else. There are very few restaurants I can count on one hand, especially here in Gauteng, that I truly have a wonderful dining experience. So how do you sustain this? How do you continue to make people come back to the test kitchen? And how do you dream up these recipes in your sleep? Do you do some research? Are you looking at stuff in all corners of the world? How do you actually do it?
I think I'm by default a restless person. So, I mean, we just came back from Singapore, and we took an extra few days in Bali as well. And I came back with, you know, already a couple of new ideas that I want to try out. We've got a dark room and a light room. So when you come to the test kitchen, you first experience a dark room, which is kind of moody and lots of snacks that you eat with your hands, and then you go into a light room. And I've got a new idea where I want to take organic vegetables and carve them up in front of the guest, and turn that into like a special kind of experience where you have dips and little vinegar sprays. And so it's about bringing the theatre of the kitchen into the restaurant. And I think by the fact that you have two experiences when you come to the test kitchen, it's also quite unique. You know, you have that edgy kind of dark experience at the beginning, then you go through into the light room, which is very classic, and, you know, white tablecloths, classical music. But it all starts with the food at the end of the day. You know, if it's not delicious, that is the key. The food has to be delicious. If it's not delicious, you will forget it.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you know, and like I say, we all have high expectations, especially when we're paying the prices we do sometimes for meals. Then I see, look, that you're also, you know, you're not just there to experiment with your food and give people a wonderful experience. You're actually protecting the planet and its people while you do this. What are you doing in that sphere?
Okay, so I just came back from Kenya. This year we've started a couple of projects. I work with a group called Farm Africa in Kenya, an organisation called Chefs for Change. So basically, you know, I'm lucky enough that they've chosen me as an ambassador for the Africa or South Africa region. And my particular voyage was I went to Kenya to learn about sustainable fish farming, because obviously Lake Victoria has depleting fish stocks, and it's one of the primary sources of protein in Kenya, tilapia or catfish. So they were showing me how they've developed these farms, which are essentially ponds that propagate tiny fish and turn and grow them, and you know, create or just grow them to a point where they're big enough to eat. And then there's all these little industries that have grown up around this, and I mean, I was quite blown away by that. Another thing we're working on in terms of sustainability is for me is very close to my heart. Is sustainability through education and job creation, and we're working with a college called Siviwe in Gugulethu at this point, where we're myself and my head chefs and some sous chefs and managers. We're teaching them how to cook and how to set restaurants, and the plan is that we eventually take some of these graduates. It's a skills school from 14 to 18 years of age, and the idea is that through working with them, we'll take 1 or 2 of these graduates every year, or 3 or 4, whatever it's going to be, and we'll create job opportunities for them.
Okay, wonderful.
So going forward, I want to spend a lot. Yeah, it's great, and it's I mean, it's so rewarding as well.
Okay.
From a selfish point of view, it's rewarding, but from a bigger point of view, it's an amazing.
Fantastic, fantastic. Well done, Luke, and thanks very much for your time. We'll let you get back in the kitchen. It's Friday, the weekend is here. I'm sure it's your busiest time. That's Luke Dale Roberts. He's the founder and head chef there at the Test Kitchen. Voted the best restaurant in Africa for the 2nd year in a row.